And that means for you what?
I'm sorry.
Would you tell the group what that means for you?
Well, Larry and his wife Jill have asked Kristen, my wife, and me to serve as their aides for the next almost 3 years through the end of his term, June 30th, 2028, which is just an incredible honor. We have such respect and admiration and affection for them. And given the fact there were literally hundreds of people he could have asked, we're incredibly honored. And we'll go to headquarters with the Lunsfords in actually 2 weeks from today for orientation and to start preparing for that role. I'm very fortunate. So, Linda, you said you carved out about 45 minutes for me to talk. Is that right? No?
Or
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is what
You're
happens
cute.
when you're a past governor. Um, do you want me to just share a bit about my views on international service?
please do.
Okay, I'll be happy to. But most of you are probably aware, or now will be aware that Rotary has 5 avenues of service, and international service is one of those 5. And I will tell you is I joined Rotary as a 31-year-old, and I thought, oh gosh, international service, that's so far out, that's beyond what I can do. And I quickly found out that that was not the case. That really, if I mean, look, there's no shortage of needs in our local communities, but many people find a really special connection with the ability to help improve communities and improve lives, sometimes save lives in communities around the world. And I think it's really neat that you can choose an area that you're interested in, whether that's literacy or peace building or improving maternal outcomes. You can choose that area that speaks to you, or you can choose a part of the world and or you can combine the two. And there are all kinds of resources to help you and or your club connect to an area geographically or an area of service. My first opportunity was with Operation Smile. And I knew a little bit about Operation Smile. We actually had an international board member in our club who said, come along with me. We're gonna do some good here. Our club helped build. Well, actually, we couldn't build the hospital building, but we completely equipped a freestanding hospital. Now, Operation Smile for years would send teams of oral surgeons and facial surgeons to repair cleft lip and cleft palates in areas that had high incidence. And they'd be in for a week. They'd take care of as many people as they could and they'd leave. But we had an opportunity to equip an entire hospital in Nicaragua that because there's an extremely high incidence of those facial deformities. And now there are dozens of surgeries performed each week, which are truly life-changing. I mean, some people are outcasts in society because of something they cannot control, something as simple as a cleft lip or a cleft palate, something that makes them look different or talk in a way that's different. It's hard to imagine that, and it's hard to imagine that couldn't be repaired. And so my club, with some support of other clubs, were able to bring um, relief and repair to folks born with that condition in Nicaragua, and it is just like any other kind of service, but maybe multiplied by several factors. I was paid off right here in my heart, and continue to feel that. That project has been years and years ago, but I always think about it when I think about what it means to be a Rotarian. That because of our global network, because we are in over 200 countries and territories, we're in more places than the United Nations. We have the ability to create um, really good outcomes and often long-term impact across the world. So I know that tonight you're going to hear inspiring stories from those who have had the opportunity to be a part of international service. And I say this without talking to anybody in advance, but I know that if you raise your hand and you say, I want to work on clean water, or I want to work on literacy, that the district leaders will help you and your club connect. And if they need any help, I will be happy to help connect them to those opportunities. I think it'll be life changing, not only for those you serve, but for those of you who participate. And I can't wait to hear what good projects are going to come out of tonight and come out of your district. So, Governor Linda and Irma, thank you for inviting me to be with you for a few minutes.
Oh gosh, no, thank you for coming. That's so terrific. We are honored to have you here. Yes, thank you. We appreciate your time and sharing your background and your travels. And I assume you're going to get to see an awful lot more in the coming years, and that's going to be interesting for us to all watch too. So congratulations on your journey. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be sure to share all that I can along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. I would love to start with Ben. Are you here? Hello, Ben. Thought I saw you on here.
Yeah, I'm here. I was muted though. Sorry, you caught me on the
Okay.
spot. I was hoping you
So
would make me go last.
let me just do a quick little intro of Ben. Ben, hi, it's so great to see you.
Good
Ben
to see y'all
is a
too.
USF.
Well, I can't see you, Linda, or
I know, I'm
Irma, but it's
sorry.
nice
I'm
to
having
hear
a
you.
problem with my video, but um Ben is still USF Rotaractor. And yeah, and we were thrilled to have four USF Rotaractors go with us to Honduras last March. So I would like you all to hear from a Rotaractor's point of view what this trip was like for you, what it meant for you to do international service, what you brought back to your other fellow Rotaractors at USF.
Yeah. So first of all, nothing to do with this meeting, but I just got my scores from the MCAT, which is the medical test. I got a very good score, so I'm on cloud nine. So let's go,
Yay,
y'all.
Ben! Good
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
awesome. Very, very excited about that. So anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all that.
Good. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing.
yeah, of course. Um, so, but with regards to oh, I see that. Yeah, let's go. Clapping. Yeah, yeah. I was so happy. I got the scores and I jumped in the pool, and that's why I'm wearing this now because I was all,
That's
wet and
okay.
cold. Anyway, so I was, for those that don't know, I was co-president of USF Rotaract last year. Got my
Yep.
gavel right here. So we can bring this meeting to order. Ding. Um, and it was really important to me to continue the tradition that USF Rotaract has of doing international service. In years past, what we've done is we've tagged along with USF, with the university for like the honors college trip to Ghana, for instance, which is a wonderful initiative, of course. But when I came in, I knew I wanted to do something more Rotary focused, because obviously I know Rotary, it's a huge element of Rotary is international service. And so thankfully, I was blessed to have something in my own backyard. I heard from someone in my club that it was like, hey, Irma's putting together another trip to Honduras. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Got in touch with her. And through the power of Rotary and very generous donors, me and three other college age kids were able to attend the trip for very minimal expenses. It was only $100 each out of pocket. Incredible. That includes to and from flight, 7 days, shelter, lodging, very nice lodging, great food. It was a wonderful experience just in that sense. It was awesome. So very blessed with that. Now the trip itself, it meant so much more to me than I expected it to because I've never been out of the country and I've heard and I've seen pictures and stuff, but you can't really know what it's like till you're there, till you're doing it. And it was very powerful. I'll say that for sure. You land at the airport and it's an airport, but then you 15-minute drive outside of it and you already see you're like, okay, yeah, I see why we're here now. Um, the projects we did were amazing. We built a house. It's crazy. We built a house, y'all. Just did it because we're Rotary. We can do that. Um, we put up latrines. We put up pilas, clean water stations. We got to go to a school and paint it, and we got to hang out with the kids. So I think what mattered most to me about the trip, I'll say most, because a lot of things mattered a lot to me. But what was most impactful to me was seeing the impact we had on people. Not just that we were able to do stuff, because I mean, building houses is great, but you could work as a construction worker here and do that, right? But seeing the family for whom we built the house, who also, by the way, helped us build the house, and seeing the impact it had on them, that was meaningful beyond words. Um, so I think for me, the biggest impact was that seeing how we impacted people, which is what it's about, right? That's why we're here. We're not here to it's great when we do cool things and build houses and win awards and get gavels, get elected president and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if we're not helping people, why are we even here? And so we were able to do that, and that was so meaningful to me. What I brought back to my club was me and the three others who were all awesome, had a great trip. Is that you know there's so much you can do just by looking and helping out, even in your own community. It doesn't have to be Honduras. You don't have to go, whatever how long the flight was, 5 hours, 6 hour flight. You can do it by walking out and helping your neighbor, and the impact is no less meaningful, in my opinion. So, and then going forward for me, this is it's still I don't know where my wallet is, but they gave us a little snippet of the Honduras flag. We each got a little bit of that, and that's in my wallet. I proudly carry that with me because it's a piece of me now. So yeah, that's it. That's a lot, but that's it.
You're going to make me cry, Ben. That's so great. I love it. Thank you so much. So let's shift now. Can I get Amanda and Ella? And I see Griffin in the background. Um, you guys want to jump in here? You guys have a whole other vantage point of what it's like to do international service.
Absolutely. Happy to do so, Irma, and thanks for including us in this. Well, I'm here to encourage anyone who would be inclined to really encourage family participation in international service trips. I had the honor of being my club's president in the year that we decided we wanted to make a sustained effort at long-term relationship with a specific community in Honduras. And so I was happy to go on one of our first trips. And at the time, my daughter, who's here, Ella, was 15 years old, a freshman in high school, and had expressed some interest in going on an international work trip. So off we went. And, I was a little nervous at first about the idea of, two women going to a foreign country. You can allow yourself to get frightened by travel alerts and horror stories that you hear at the hair salon about personal safety. And all of that was totally unfounded in our case, and we both became huge fans of the work that Rotary is doing in Honduras and La Paz specifically, and with Honduras Compassion Partners. So much so that every year since, Ella has asked to go back to Honduras as a birthday present, as a Christmas present, as a spring break trip, wherever she can get it in. Mom, can we go back to Honduras? So the second time we went, we took the whole family with us, my husband and my son. Hello. And guess what? They loved it as much as Ella and I did. And so much so now we're going back. We're already paid the deposits and are going back for our third trip this year at spring break. So the impact on a family that a trip like this can have is really there are no words. There aren't enough words to express it. But the watching my kids interact with other Rotarians from our club and establish really meaningful and significant relationships with community leaders that they continue to interact with here in Lakeland is amazing. Also, watching them interact with the people that we were serving in Honduras and establishing long-term relationships with those folks. I mean, Griffin over here totally bonded with the photographer that was on our trip and still continues to interact with him, I think, almost daily through Instagram. They play Fortnite together in an online environment. So it's really about relationships, like Ben said. And just speaking from experience with other folks from our club that have gone on this trip, we've had one Rotarian whose son went on the trip with us the first time and then later joined our Rotary Club. We had another Rotarian whose wife went on the first trip with us and she later joined our Rotary Club. We had a coworker who went on the second trip and then later joined our Rotary Club. So I think that when you can encourage folks to consider these international service trips a family affair and not just a Rotarians affair, then it can really serve to help recruit new and attract new members to your club. And Ella, do you want to share anything?
You covered a lot of it. I'll say as somebody who I'm not involved in Rotary at all. My school doesn't have an Interact. My school doesn't have an Interact club, so all of my exposure to Rotary has been through these service trips. And as far as this is really just hyping Rotary up, but as far as I can say, I have loved every single minute of every single trip to Honduras, so much so that I can't wait to be 18 so I can join a Rotary Club and get involved in everything that Rotary has to offer. So that's the first thing I have to say. And the second thing that I have to say is that going to Honduras just I have a lot of friends who have been on some other service trips as well, but they were more mission focused, like in a church environment. And as far as the work that we get to do in Honduras goes, I mean, we are just helping people live their lives better and equipping them to set their families up for success in the future. And I just think there's something so special about the way that we go about helping these people and giving them tools to help themselves that it's so much extra dignity to these people. So I think that's all.
Okay.
Griffin, want to say anything?
Griffin.
He's coming.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I like what Ella said. It was fun. Like I didn't feel unsafe like one time, and like the workers at Honduras Compassion Partners are very good. And yeah.
Okay.
That's great. It's great to see you all, and we are so happy you're all coming back again next March. It's going to be super.
We're
Um,
happy too.
Yay! And Amanda was also integral in helping another family come with us last March. And the mom was really nervous and really like, why am I taking my children to this kind of an environment? Why would I go on this trip? We've taken them on cruises and we've taken them to Europe. And by the middle of the week, they finally did go. She did calm down. Amanda was hugely helpful in making that happen. By the middle of the week, the parents said to the kids, "So, how's it going?" And the kids were like, "Best vacation ever." And I'm happy to tell you they are also coming back next March. So it really is, yeah, right, Ben. So it's for any age. And it's for people that are Rotarians and not Rotarians. And some of those non-Rotarians do become Rotarians. But it's not just Honduras. We've also gone to India. I think the Plant City people go to the Philippines. Is that correct? So it can be anywhere. And it can be different kinds of trips. Jim Weaver, do you want to jump in and talk about the kinds of trips that you do? I know it's still Honduras, but it's a different part of Honduras and it's a different kind of trip than what we've been talking about.
Sure, I'm happy to talk about that. And I have Angela Oakes here with me. She and I are co-chairs of our international committee. I think it's only fair that I point out that our club has been going to Honduras since 2013. So we're probably the pioneers in our district, but we're happy to share time with these younger and newer clubs that are experiencing the Honduras experience. So since 2013, we've made 21 trips to Honduras. I've been on 20 of them. And over the time, we have sort of taken a different focus. Rather than working with our hands, we kind of take the approach that wouldn't it be better to pay Hondurans to do the projects? And so when we go, we either look at projects that are proposed or projects that we are in the process of completing or projects that have been completed. And we sort of focus on getting the nationals to do the work. We have an association with the Alua Rotary Club, which is what you have to have. You have to have that Rotary Club that you can count on, that knows the population and the people better than you do, certainly. So we rely on them to show us various projects. I have to give a shout out to the grants committee of our district that has helped us fund 4 wells that we've done in Honduras. The last well that we completed was in El Progreso Hospital. El Progreso population, $350,000, $400,000, depending on the weather. Did not have running water. They got their water from the fire department. So we put in a well, and now they have potable water at the hospital. So we take great pride in these projects that we've done. So I'm going to ask Angela if she's got some things she'd like to add to that.
Um, so yeah, we run around the El Progreso area like crazy. Like spend 20 minutes here and there and everywhere, and we see 20 projects in 3 days. And it's really the connection with the Rotarians in El Progreso that have made the difference. You see anything from, fixing equipment for medical uses, fixing the water tower at the fire department, helping out in schools with the air conditioning, windows, computers, science lab. It's just changing the lives there. I've been 3 times myself, and I've seen the start of projects like proposed. I've seen mid project and I've seen completed projects. And I understand the want to build with your bare hands like the other project down there. And I'm gonna talk to Irma about possibly hopping in March as well. But I love that our focus is raising the money, raising awareness, and changing people's lives in El Progreso.
That's great. I think there's room for all kinds of trips, right?
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate your giving a whole different vantage point of what can happen and how it can happen. Joanna, you guys went last November and you did a couple of different things. Is that correct? Do you want to talk about that?
Hi, yes, I have
Hi.
Christy,
Hi, Christy.
service
Hi.
extraordinaire, and she's been on how many mission trips now?
11.
Yeah, so she's dragged me the last two with her. And again, we were in that same situation where my husband was worried about the safety thing and the travel advisories were coming up, and we just went. We said we're going and we're going. So the first year we went to the mountains of El Progreso, where Chrissy's dad was influential in helping build a high school in the mountains to provide education.
Yes, it was for Bless the Children. So they have a school. It's the only high school in the mountains. 11 villages come to the school, and grandparents will drive the kids on the back of motorcycles, and they'll just sit and wait all day under the tree so their kids can get an education. So it's an incredible high school. We were able to piggyback on with that with Souls for Souls, where we did probably like 9 or 10 shoe distribution trips to all the schools in the area, and these kids didn't have shoes. So it was kind of a combination trip for shoe distribution and going up to the mountains for Bless the Children.
And then the second year, we went to Honduras Compassion Partners with Carlos, who I think is on this call as well. And we took 9 Rotarians, some that weren't even Rotarians yet, but joined after the trip, which is exactly a great way to engage your new members. And we built a house also. So like Ben, we were like, oh my gosh, like this is like a week we did this. Once my husband saw that I can use a power tool, that was it as far as anything that I need done in the house. I am in charge of doing now. It's really funny. Built a house, we did pilas, we put in countless water filters,
Two community feedings.
2 community feeding.
And I brought my dad. My dad's 76. He's never been on a mission trip, but he does everything like in Jacksonville service-wide. He's building houses for Habitat or building ramps for veterans. And I said, Dad, I really want you to come and do this trip with me. And it was probably one of the best things ever for our relationship. And we loved it. He loved it. And he's like, I want to go back. And we do a big family reunion every year. So next November, we're bringing 21 of us to Honduras, and it's all our family, like all the children and all the my sisters. So it's going to be an extraordinary experience, and I'm super excited for it.
And Ben touched on the fact it's the impact that you see like on your neighbor here or there. And I don't think any of us left without us feeling like we had benefited probably more than even the people around us there from a personal growth standpoint. But definitely the connections that you make are invaluable. I love seeing the families go together. That is so wonderful because you're teaching them to serve someone outside of themselves, and that's going to go a long way in their lives.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Yeah.
kind of exactly what I told Amanda and the other family, that they as parents have really given their kids a gift, because what they experienced on these trips is going to stay with them forever. Amanda has a little story that she tells about Griffin getting home and turning on the faucet in the kitchen to get a glass of water, and then shutting it off and turning and saying to her, Mom, they'd love this in Honduras. So, I mean, that's the impact. And I know after my first trip, which was with Ed Odom, and we'll get to him in a second, I came home and I looked out and everything was green, and the lawn sprinklers were going, and water was like everywhere. We just take it for granted, right? So that was really impactful for me, and it's great to see how it impacts kids. It really does. um Ed, you can speak to the effect on children pretty well. Ed brought his grandson, who um changed quite a bit as a young man on this trips.
I is it my turn to speak now?
Sure,
Or should
go
you just
for it.
okay, I didn't know if you just wanted me to speak to Chase. Yes, I brought my grandson Chase twice, once at age 10 and then at 15. And I think he kind of stood as a team leader for Mark and Irma's work team at 15, which was a proud moment for his grandpa here. It's been cool as I've been listening to people talk about international service and Honduras in particular. I don't know that I'd put myself in the pioneer era of Jim Weaver, but hi, Jim and Angela. Maybe I've been going to Honduras the second longest, not quite pioneer. Um, but I was thinking as we were speaking, what can I say that's unique because many of us have had similar experiences. And for those of you that have suffered through one of my club visits as district foundation chair, I talked about my journey in the foundation and that the more that I learned and the more that I participated, the more that I wanted to give and share and do more. And I really think as I look through the cycle, or maybe continuum is a better word, of my experience in Honduras. Some of you have heard me say this before. The first trip, my club was struggling with, we just wanted to do international service. And we couldn't really find a location, and we had kind of narrowed to clean water, but weren't really sure. And at that time, I was busy in other parts of my life. And my real contribution was to get impatient and to say, for God's sake, find someone else who's going on a trip and join them. And my first trip to Honduras in 2016 was with a group from Michigan, a gentleman and his wife from my club. Many of you know Richard Lindstrom and Carmen. And the three of us went down as our club representatives. And that was where we first met Carlos Jonathan Zelaya. He was working at El Ayudante, and Tristan Mohagan was the executive director, he and his wife Beth at El Ayudante. And just that experience for many of you that have been once or twice, very, very similar of just, oh my goodness, this is so inspiring, and I can't believe how easy it is to make a difference in other people's lives. And I'm embarrassed that at that time I'd been in Rotary for more than 25 years, and it was the first time I'd ever done anything even close to that. And a couple years later, went back with a team of Rotarians, mostly from my club, but a few friends and distant family that I invited. And all of a sudden, I realized Tristan Mohagan, executive director at El Ayudante, is joining the Comayagua Rotary Club. And some of you know Paul Enberg Jr., the dentist, a son of a friend of mine in Minnesota, goes back and joins the Rotary Club of Chanhassen. And then the next thing I know, Carlos Jonathan isn't just joining Rotary, he's starting his own club in La Paz. And that was just amazing. Then coming out of COVID is when I went that Mark and Irma joined. And I think many of you know what happened after that. Many of you are the products of that trip. Um, Irma thanks me, Mark blames me. if that means anything to anyone. And then in more recent trips, I've been able to see sort of again on that continuum, the trip that Irma and Mark were on, that we had a group from Michigan also. We built a home for a family. The woman's name was Tomasa. And as all of the homes that we build, they were living in just abysmal conditions. And we were able to put a roof over their head and electricity in their home. And at the end of that construction, when we were doing the ribbon cutting, she spoke so eloquently in Spanish and through translation. And the line that stuck in my mind was, now when it rains, my things won't get wet. And now when the wind blows, I won't lose things in my home. And of course, you can hear as my voice cracks, that was so moving. But more moving was 2 years later, we went back and we were building a home in the same community. And who comes to greet us after lunch but Tomasa? And she's well dressed and she's on her way to work and she's thanking us because now her friend will have the same opportunities that she had by having a house. And so I'll use the word for the third time, continuum or pay it forward, to see in our own lives the way that we join, we participate, we invite others. They join, they participate, they invite others. And then we have the impact on people's lives in Honduras, where they receive, they're able to do more, they're able to give more, and they pay it forward. And I think that has just been the most enlightening and inspiring part of all of this for my journey.
Well, you made me cry. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm sitting here. It's a good thing you can't see me do my ugly cry. That's fine. Thank you, Ed. Yes,
Thank
that
you.
was our first trip. Mark and I, it was the end of COVID, for those of you that haven't heard this story. And I was itching to go somewhere because we hadn't traveled in almost 2 years. And I heard about this trip that Ed Odom was doing from Fishhawk Riverview to Honduras. And Mark said to me, "Oh, no, you don't want to go on that trip. You're going to hate it. You're not going to like Honduras." Ed's laughing. It's dirty, it'll be buggy, it'll be dusty, it'll be hot, it'll be sticky, there'll be bugs. You're gonna hate it. You're all laughing. It's true. And I said, I don't know. I did just something about it. I just really, you know how you get that feeling? I just really want to do it. And obviously, you know now who won that argument. And and then I wound up having my Rotary aha moment on this trip, and I became a team leader, and that's the short version. But I love doing this. I love seeing all your faces and hearing all your experiences. I do want to switch gears just a little bit. We will come back to Honduras because I want Carlos Jonathan to kind of talk about the impact down there. Oh yeah, you've got your flag, Amanda. Yep. Um, but I would like Mark to talk about the trip that we took to India and talk about the impact that we saw there, that the projects that people do there, and giving the polio drops. And Leslie, if you want to jump in later on, I know I didn't talk to you ahead of time about this, but Leslie has also done a polio drops trip. I think it'd be really good to get that angle in here too. Before we run out of time. Mark, do you want to unmute and talk about that? Yeah.
We went to India. We were in several places, and we gave the drops to a lot of children, babies, infants, and older kids. And we ended up in one place. It was the coal mining region, and we went to this building, and it was jam packed with mothers and children, and we gave the drops. And the mothers were dressed to the night. They had to be their Sunday best. The children were dressed lovely, and they all wanted to take pictures of us. So we had several rounds and where we gave the drops, and the volume in the place got to be a little too much for me. So I went outside, so I could sit in the van that brought us there. And they were all the husbands, because there wasn't enough room for them to go inside. And they stood and watched through well, they don't have windows. They just had bars on that space, and they would watch. And there were three guys that came over, and I had no idea what they were going to do. I was very concerned, and all they wanted to do was talk. Now, my Hindi is about as good as their English, so we figured out some words that we did, but I figured out that they were all graduates of the coal mining college we had gone by, and they all worked in the coal mines. And they were so appreciative of us coming and giving the polio vaccine to their children because they knew what polio was. They've only gotten rid of it in the country 10 years ago, and that their children won't get it. And they were fine. And we had this lovely conversation. And then I said, well, I need to go back in. It's time. I've rested a little. Let me go back in and see what I can do to help. And then they said, well, wait a minute. And three more guys came over whose English wasn't as good as the other guys. And my Hindi didn't improve at all in those 10 or 15 minutes. And they were just satisfied to have their picture taken with me because that was their gratitude for what we were doing for their family. It was just inspiring. And then I went inside, and this young lady actually bent down and touched our shoes and put her hand up to her mouth. Just so appreciative of what we had done for them, we're doing.
One
Back
of
to
the other
you.
things that we observed over there was Rotary is really recognized there, much more so than it is here in the States. There's all kinds of signage on the streets, and each club that we went to, it was not uncommon for them to be doing 10 global grants all at the same time. We're lucky if we can do one. And it was very impressive. They are very devoted there. Rotary is a really big deal there. It's highly recognized, highly respected. I think a lot of you have members now in your clubs that have come from India or Pakistan or Afghanistan and will tell you that they remember getting the polio vaccine as a child or seeing a relative suffer with polio. And so they are firsthand and have experience with it. It was a very gratifying trip, and I urge any of you, if you have the opportunity and the ability to go and do that kind of a trip. It's totally different than Honduras, or building a house or that kind of thing, but it's really worthwhile. Leslie, do you want to talk a little bit about where did you go for your polio drop?
Hi, thank you. Yes, we went in 2017 in January. My club had done several trips beforehand to Costa Rica. Um, so when this opportunity came up to go to India, three of us jumped on it. Joyce and Gary Gunter and I went on this trip. And we were primarily based in Delhi, but we did visit Chandigarh. And on the way back from Chandigarh, we visited a dental school and also a school for the deaf, for deaf children, that had all been paid for entirely by Rotarians. We also visited Jaipur and visited the Jaipur Limb Factory, which is, again, entirely supported by Rotarians. Funnily enough, one of the main people involved in it is from very close to my hometown in England, and I've run into him a couple of times at Rotary conventions. We also, of course, went to Agra and did the Taj Mahal. But it was one of those trips where you visited as many things as you could, including the hospital in Delhi, where they are doing so much surgery on young men and young women who have been afflicted by polio and have been having amazing results. And they bring in surgeons from all over to do these surgeries. And it's all funded by Rotary. It's funny, Ed and Irma have both mentioned their Rotary moment. I actually had mine on the bus coming back from Agra to Delhi about 10 o'clock at night. And that's as much as I really want to say because otherwise I'll just start crying. But we did our polio drops at a small town just outside of Delhi called Ghaziabad. And the most amazing thing for me were the people who came and how happy they were that we were there to help them. I remember one grandfather who spoke very good English came up on a motorbike, with 3 or 4 grandchildren stuffed on the back seat behind him. And they're all clinging onto each other as he's driving along the road. And he couldn't wait for them to receive the drops. And it was just incredibly moving to know that although you never know these people, I saw children that I will never see again. But because of what Rotarians did while we were there, I know that they will not be impacted by polio. And for me, that was a huge blessing. And it's probably one of the most amazing trips I've ever taken in my entire life. Did not ever believe that I would ever do a trip like that. Never even crossed my mind until it was suggested. It was just a throwaway comment from somebody. And I said, well, yes, I would like to go and do that. As I said, I had done service projects before in Costa Rica. This was way out of my comfort zone, but it was one of the most important to me things I've ever done in my life, not because of the impact it had on me, but because of the impact globally that these immunizations have on so many different people that wouldn't have access to these vaccines. And it just blows my mind that we can do this and we are making a difference. And that's very important to me that we make a difference. Thank you.
That's so great. Good for you. Yeah, right. Give her all the applause. I get the emotionality of it. I truly do. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing. And I know I caught you off guard. This was not prepared. A lot of you I asked ahead of time, but I know Leslie can speak from the heart, and it's wonderful to have you share all that. I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's let Did somebody want to say something? Sorry. um, Carlos Jonathan, can we ask you? I know I can't get used to the name change. To unmute and maybe talk about when we leave, what do we leave you with? What do you Can you address, I don't even know how to term it, the difference that we make there? We go away and we think, oh yeah, we've made an impact. We've helped better those people's lives. We've given them a good roof and a dry place to live. And we've gone back a few years in a row afterwards to look at the house, and it maybe looks a little worn or whatever, but does it really change their lives in other ways?
Well, hello.
Hi.
People hear me? Yes.
Yes.
It's raining a lot in Honduras. This is the raining season right now. So, well, first I just want to say thank you. It's so great to see everybody. I think I know a lot of the people that are connected in this meeting.
Right.
And I want to thank everybody. Thank Irma for inviting me. And I want to say It's so great to see Jim going to Honduras for 21 years. That's just amazing. I was like in first grade when you started coming to Honduras. So thank you, thank you. But talking about international service, I want to say that I am a Rotarian also because of international service. If Ed Adam didn't go to Honduras in 2016, I would not be a Rotarian. And I have addressed this several times when I have spoken in many of the clubs that I have been inviting, and it's that important because it's not just for your Rotary clubs how impact is for them to go to Honduras and you can get members for your club. It's also in our countries when you go and do an international service and we get to see people working like you, that we get that also, that we want to be Rotarians too. And I want to talk a little bit about, like, the other coin of the conversation is like how we receive the international service from Rotary. I have done mission trips from churches in other parts of the world, but I have never done an international service project outside Honduras with Rotary, which I am really hoping that we can do a global, that we can keep working on this global grant with you guys for doing something in the Rotary camps, Florida, with Leslie. So I can go there. And at least I feel that I'm doing international outside Honduras. But talking about what do I feel, it's energizing to see the passion and the incredible work ethic from even kids that are 13 or 14 years old that come in these trips and work, because we get to know people and we get to live with people for a week and work together for a week and build something meaningful together. But what truly impacted me is after the project is complete, is that despite that we are from different backgrounds and cultures and languages, we are all the same, and we share that purpose, universal passion of service. And it gave me, for me personally, that just renewed my purpose and the energy to always do more. And I can speak about also my Rotary Club. I started a Rotary Club in my area because there was no Rotary Club. The closest Rotary Club is 30 minutes away, and it's another city, but we wanted a Rotary Club in our city, and that's what we started one. But my Rotary Club, we can see how passionate they get after they see you. And this is just as the Rotarian experience. Like, we love to see that international aspect of Rotary. And we love to see that aspect of being and growing in Rotary. And then the fact of going and visiting the people that have been served is just amazing to see the transformation that this has happened. We see the people getting transformed by a water filter, by a latrine, by building a house, by just going there and visiting and talking. And that type of relationship is just amazing. As of myself, well, I am speaking to you right now as the District International Service Chair for District 4250. Because after being a Rotarian, I was like, well, I want to keep growing in this. So I am an assistant governor, and also I am the DISC for the next 3 years for my district. And I just love that opportunity that international service has opened in my life, and how we have been really, really blessed and benefit of the relationships that we have been doing and growing, and the people that I have been, making connections that I feel that they are more now than friends. They are more like family. And it's always great to see you guys, even through a Zoom platform. So thank you, guys. I'm giving back to you, Ms. Irma. Or not. I can keep talking. I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much. Can you talk about some of the families more specifically that we've worked with down there?
Yeah, so we have been working and building houses and building the transit, specifically in our area in La Paz. And I know around, and right now that I have been seeing my district and seeing the work and the international work that is being done. The District 4250, it's Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize. We are 3 countries in one district, and seeing the families that have been served. Like right now, just coming up my mind. Ed just talked about Tomasa. We have other people. We have Dora, and we have more than 60 houses and more than 200 water filters that we have done. We are doing a project at a hospital too right now with the Lakeland Rotary Club working. But it is really great to see all these international districts working with the District 4250. We have projects in Belize that are from water and hospital. We have projects in Guatemala has way more projects than Honduras, global grants than Honduras, and they are working in massive and global grants that are working with water mostly and education. And it's just incredible refreshing to see all the benefit that is coming from Rotary and Rotary International through the international aspect.
Hey, Carlos, can I
Yes,
give
sir.
you, I'm going to try and feed you 2 tips without telling the story myself. The first woman and her daughters that you built a house for, before that was really a program, talk about where she was, what she did afterward. And then the other one would be Joel through the school and what he went on to
Yeah,
do.
so the first lady that we ever built a house, her name is Dora, and Dora and her 2 girls, Genesis and Maria, we decided to build a house because the community told us to build it, and the reason was because she lived in a tarp house made of tarp, and someone tried to rape her by just cutting with a knife the tarp and trying to get in. So
To her daughters.
To her daughter, because she had to leave the daughters in the house when she had to go work during the day because they were under 10 years, both daughters. So the community step in, they prevent anything from happening, and they talk to us about building the house, and that's the first time we built the house. When we start building the house, that Dora and her kids, they were really shy with us. They were shy, and especially seeing a group of Americans going there, blonde, white, tall people going there to build a house, it was a little, strange. But at the end of the week, she was completely a different person. She was full of joy, happy. And just to tell you that in order to build something, that people have to give a part, so that ownership part is there. She had to carry sand and rocks in her head with a bucket, sand and rocks, to try to have all the materials that she needed to build the house. But after that, the year after we built her the house, she was not just another person living in the community. She was elected to be one of the community leaders, because now she was not shy. Now she was an outgoing person. And we saw that transformational. By just giving the house, she converted in a totally different person. And that was just really excited to see that life of Dora. And then, we had a former employer that his name is Joel. And Joel used to work building houses with us, but he started working with us. He didn't finish high school. And we have a high school program too that is kind of like a GED for you to finish high school. So one of the requirements that we asked him is that we're going to hire you, but you had to finish high school. And so he said yes. And so he enrolled in high school and he finished high school. But when we started asking why, he was enjoying high school so much, but also he was saying that he started realizing that the importance of high school was not just because we were asking him to do it, was because he was an example for his daughter to see that even though he was 27, he was still studying and wanted to finish his high school diploma. And then his daughter started school, and he decided to enroll her in a bilingual school because seeing the international aspect, he realized that knowing English is so important, because knowing another language. So now his daughter is there, and he finished high school. He graduated. He was a great employee, and one day he came to me and he said, I got a really good job offer, and it was sad to lose him as an employee, but it was great to see that he was growing just by continuing that education. And stories like that, now we have a guy named Gabriel that we built him a house. And now then he was such a good worker when we saw him building the house, his own house, that we decided to hire him. And now he learned how to build houses, and he built houses for other people in his community. And he just loved it, because he came from now being the guy that was building it to building the house. And just like that, it's so great, because we are employing Honduran. I'm Honduran, and you can hear my accent. I'm Honduran, and it's just so great to see all the Hondurans that work with Honduras Compassion Partners work alongside you guys when you're here, and they try to teach you, and that's so beautiful that we are working together, and even when we're building latrines, but yeah, it's just it's just great. And Joanna is laughing, and they know why. I won't say anything, Joanna and Christy. But it's just amazing to see how we work together with the families, with the employees that we pay, and with the American in that international aspect is what it glue everything, and it's just amazing. And we just have so much fun doing it, and that's
We
just
do have
amazing.
fun. We work
Yeah.
hard, but we also have fun. And
Even
there's usually a little rum involved, right?
yeah, we have fun even if we found mice in hats and
Oh,
and
right.
frogs
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and bulls and horses and dogs,
Yeah.
and it's just all
We've had
part of
those
the.
are all true stories, and you have to go and experience it for yourself. That's all I have to say. And I'm delighted to tell you all that DG Linda is going to go to Honduras. Yes, she's going with us in March.
I'm
Yeah.
really excited to go and to work with you, Carlos, and this organization. I went, I don't know, several years ago to the Dominican Republic where our Rotary Club of Tampa partners with one of our members, the Newman family, who own the cigar factory in Tampa, and they run the Cigar Factory Foundation. So we did a water project there. So I'm eager to get back.
We're thrilled that you're going with us, actually. So there, Ed Odom. Uh, uh, Carlos, we love your enthusiasm. Linda Johnson just wrote in the chat that you can see your passion, and it shines right through. We love that. Are there any questions? We're approaching our hour. I don't want to overstay our welcome here. If anybody's got a question, I don't know if anything's come in the chat. Just unmute yourself. I think we're small enough that you can just sort of shout out. One of the other things that I do want to mention, we talked about how non-Rotarians do sometimes become Rotarians. I also want to say that you will find more people giving more money to the foundation. As you come back and you talk about your experiences and your trips, you will find other members, even though they can't go on the trip, whether it's because of work or age or illness or whatever, they will write checks. And you will find that your giving goes up in your club. And if you want to use the Lakeland Rotary Club as an example, I will tell you that over a 3-year period, the giving in our club increased by 1,009%. That is a real number. And if you want more information about that, we have a gentleman in our club who'll be happy to come and talk to you about how we did it. There was a kind of a three-pronged attack, and it's working. So just keep that in the back of your mind. That shouldn't be your only motivation, but it is motivation. Jason, take it away.
Well, Irma, I was just so curious, and it's kind of nice that you mentioned money part of this. What can clubs do if they say right now they're not ready to travel, they can't go on a trip,
Right.
but maybe they've got a little money somewhere that might be able to help? Is there any type of funding they can get through, maybe say the district or TRF? You kind of see what I'm hinting at here, to help fund some of these
Hey,
wonderful
what are you
projects.
getting at, Jason?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if clubs had some, say, like DDF funds,
Oh,
can they
yeah,
use that to
DDF.
help fund some of these wonderful
District
things?
designated funds. Yeah, you know a little bit about that.
Yeah, and what is so great is um, we have 2 grants currently in the works for Honduras Compassion Partners, and one absolutely wonderful grant in the works for the well that's being built in. Please tell me it's southern Honduras. That's where I'm trying to remember, Jim.
La Brisas.
La Brisas. And these wonderful projects, they're global grants. They're looking for money. And so clubs, and I love that you mentioned how when you go and see the impact as a Rotarian, you're more likely to donate. I do find that's true. And so clubs, if they're not necessarily ready, they don't have members to go on a trip, they may want to consider donating their DDF to some of these wonderful causes in international service, because then you kind of feel like you got a little bit in it. You're like,
Right.
hey, I helped build that well. Hey, I
Right.
helped build that house. So it's great.
And it's not just Honduras. I mean, you can pick a project in India or Africa or wherever and feel like you've got skin in the game, that you've got ownership of it, you've got partnerships of it, and you can still build relationships with those people. That happened with our club with a project in India. We had never met the person. We've since, Mark and I have been able to meet, and actually Clarice met her too in India. Hi, Michelle. Where you been? I miss you so much. Sorry, private moment. um, Michelle and Jason are going to Honduras Thanksgiving week, and Mark and I are going with them. And we're going to be doing the dedication of the new orthopedic unit there that our club, the Lakeland Rotary Club, helped do a global grant on with the Rotary Club of La Paz. So we're pretty stoked and excited about that. It was fairly deplorable when we got to see it. Some of you also got to see it, and it's going to be like night and day what they've done there. Anybody else have any questions that we can help you with? If you need guidance and you want to create a trip, you want to make your own trip, any of us would be happy to help you and walk you through it. What else can I say? Bring your spouses, bring your children, bring your friends. I think this family trip that you guys are doing, Christy, is going to be amazing. Michelle is bringing her sister and family, 2 kids, and her brother-in-law coming in November. That's going to be exciting. There's a little juggling to do with logistics and airfares and insurance and whatnot, and you will find that there were people that will tell you, "Oh, it's dangerous. You shouldn't go there." Um, they shouldn't listen to everybody that tells them stories in the beauty parlor or wherever, or even if you go to the Department of State and you read the warnings, it's for an area that's like 1,000 miles away from where we're going. So I wouldn't let any of that stop you. I feel that I wouldn't take anybody there if I thought it was dangerous. We are safe. We are in a 17-acre compound. We never go out alone. When we're in the marketplace, there's always people with us. We always have interpreters with us. So it's I don't find that there's anything to really be worried about. Yeah, everybody's shaking their head. Yeah, that's great. I thank you all for coming. If there's no questions or anybody got any comments, Linda, do you want to wrap this up for us?
I think this has been an hour of connecting the dots in lots of ways. The power of what we can do, one movement at a time. What our money does, what our time does, what our treasures do. So I thank you all for being so committed, and we're moving on to great things. And it's good to be a Rotarian.
I just hope this inspires other clubs to do this, or even one person from a club to say, gee, I want to go on one of these trips. Who can I hook up with? Ed is taking a group in January. I'm going in March. Christy and Joanna, do you have a trip planned other than your family one?
We're crashing Ed's trip.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's great. Cool.
So take that, Irma.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm glad. I'm glad they're going. Scott Dudley, have you been on a trip? Shelley, have you guys gone on an international trip?
Scott's been on quite a few more than I have, but I've been to Honduras with Jim Weaver, and
Right.
it was life-changing, absolutely.
Yeah,
But Scott's
yeah,
done trips to several countries.
it's pretty amazing. Linda Johnson went with us. Anybody else that been on a trip that wants to throw something out there that I may not know about? Lee Earls, have you been on one? Putting you on the spot.
No, I have not.
But you'd
I
like
saw
to,
Chad
right?
raise his hand.
Who?
Clarice Roth has been on all of them.
Yeah, Clarice has been to Honduras and India. Yes.
Chad raised his hand.
Chad, where have you been?
I've been on 2 trips to Dominican to build a community down there. So
I can say each time was something powerful. So, Amanda, I applaud you for taking your family out and all those others that have, because the first trip I went with about 14 other people. The second trip, our oldest daughter joined us. And first time, I literally thought somebody got killed because of all the screaming and yelling that came out of behind where I was at. And it was a 38-year-old mother who had heard sound for the very first time because we took we took a team of doctors with us. And we had given her son hearing aids the year before, and they surprised her. I didn't even know that we were doing it that year. And the second time, yeah, I thought I lost my daughter actually. I was looking everywhere, and she was in the corner, and there were five girls from the community and my daughter, and they were all braiding each other's hair. So I was a little scared, and then it turned out to be one of the best things ever. So um, don't be afraid to take people with you. So, yeah.
That's terrific. Thank you, Chad, for sharing that. This takes my
Irma, can I
breath
say
away.
one thing?
Yes, please.
The one thing I would like to say is not only do you grow internally from the interactions that you have with people from these other countries that you visit, the people you go with, the Rotarians you go with, those relationships also come together even more and more, and they're lifetime friends, lifetime friends.
And the other thing, just looking at you, Ben, I think when the Rotaractors went with us, I think for the first day or so, the Rotaractors were like, well, we're our own little group, we're our own little team. And I think, yeah, you're smiling. It took a few days for them to really warm up to the idea that, you know, they could learn a lot by interacting with the Rotarians and vice versa. I think there were some Rotarians who were like, oh, these kids, you know, but it worked. By the end of the week, it really worked. And Ben was playing with, you know, soccer with Brooks like for hours on end, and ping pong, and working together, you know, tying rebar and, you know, building things. And it just, everybody gelled together. When you talk, Chad, about, you know, you heard the screaming on my first trip as team leader. All of a sudden one day one of the moms was crying hysterically, and I'm like panicking, like, oh my god, did somebody say something to you? Who said what? Let me fix this. What's going on? She was overcome with such joy watching her son interact with local young little boys and teaching them how to hold a paintbrush and how to throw a football, that she was just overcome and just got emotional. And she eventually became a Rotarian, yes. But it's moments like that that you will never, ever forget. And it's so impactful. So, to Linda's point, it's not just the relationships you're building with the people there, but it's the relationships you're building with your teammates. It's huge. It's really huge. You're all nodding your heads. I love this. It's like I got a bunch of bobbleheads here. Clarice, you want to throw out anything? You've listened to all this, and you've been on a couple of trips.
Well, I've been to both El Progreso and La Paz. They were both unique and each had their own way, but it was a great relationship. And I can say that, like you were saying, of course, with the Rotary clubs in both of those areas, it was a wonderful experience. But the people that I went with, it helped me develop friendships with both of those clubs. And that was really phenomenal to me. Also, when I went to India, I have to say the highlight to me was we went to a tour of the last polio ward in the world. And the doctor there gave us a tour, and we went in all these patients' rooms. And like somebody, like Mark was saying, they all wanted pictures with us. But we got to see these people one on one and see their disabilities and how polio had affected them. And that was so touching to me. But no matter where you go, international service is amazing, and it makes you feel good in your heart to do good for others.
Leslie, you got your hand up. You want to unmute?
Yes, I just wanted to very briefly expand on what you were saying about taking young people and taking the Rotaractors. All of the service projects that we did in Costa Rica we took fairly large groups of USF Rotaractors with us on each of these trips. And one of the ways that we actually kind of got to know them was each night at the end of the work days, either building the playgrounds or painting the schools, whatever project it was we were working on. We would sit down at the end of the day with the Rotaractors. We'd all get together, sit down, and we'd have a rap session and let them talk about what their day had been like and the things that they had done and what impact it had on them. And the first night, it was a little, awkward. They didn't really know us and we didn't really know them. By the end of the week, we were all best friends and we were all working together, painting the playground that we had built and just bonded. And it was interesting because we also took Gary Gunter's young son, Sean, with us on these projects. And I think he was maybe 9 or 10 the first time he went. And he helped, funnily enough, to bring the Rotarians and the Rotaractors together as well, because he interacted so well with both sides. And so that was kind of a unique experience.
That's great. So this works for everybody and anybody. And don't let the finances get in the way. We were able to scholarship the USF kids by getting people who couldn't go on trips to, pony up some money. Yeah. It was really terrific. And it's not an expensive trip. I don't think any of these are really expensive, although India was a little more money because of the airfare. So yeah, that kind of set us over. But we went for a longer period of time. But so that one's a little exception. Anyway, we hope to expand on this Zoom call and do another one maybe in the spring after Linda gets back from her trip and she can talk about her experience. Maybe she'll have an aha moment. We'll see, right? Anybody got anything else before we wrap this up? We've gone way over and nobody seems in a hurry to leave, and I thank you all so much. Yeah? Linda, what? Did you want to say something? You were holding something up.
No, I said, let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Yeah. Pack my bags and get out of here. So I'm happy to stay on. If anybody's got more stories they want to tell, I love this. I think this is great. If not, adios and gracias.
Irma, before we sign off, Irma, just a special little shout out to you. When we were talking about what an international service chair gig looks like, this was one of the places where we landed. And I think there could be some possibilities for this in the spring, as you said, once these trips come back to the US. And let's think about what that could look like.
Yeah, I'm on board. And I got a feeling some of you would be on board too. Thank you all so much for your time tonight and sharing your stories. And it's great to see you all. I apologize for my lack of video, but I'm really here. And it's great to see you, Ben. Of course, give our love to Aiden and Jen and Michaela.
Will do. I'm excited
for
to.
your help
It's
with getting
unfortunate they
this
didn't
all.
come to it. I told them to come to it, and I didn't see them. But maybe they had school, so you know how it is being a college kid. So, but I'll definitely pass on the
Okay,
excitement and
great.
the good vibes. So,
Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Take
Hey,
care.
Irma,
I'm
you want
waving
to stay on
goodbye.
for a second? Irma, you want to stay on for a second?
Okay, I can.
Okay, so I've got a very good feeling you have a camera feed right now, but you have your privacy screen on. So are you on a computer?
Yeah, I am.
So there's on most modern computers, it's either a physical door, so somewhere right around the camera
No, I
is a
can
little
see the light
slider.
of the camera. The light, I can see the light. There's
Okay.
no door on mine.
Okay, then the other thing is some of them have a soft button. So it'd be one of the buttons, the F keys above your keyboard.
One of them
Okay.
might look like a little camera, and you'd have to press the function key, the FN.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of times a little key that looks like a camera.
I just pressed it. My name came up.
Okay. Okay, so your name came up because you just turned the camera off. So that's a good sign. That means that you're not using a camera. So if you hover down at the control bar, down at the bottom where you have mute and all that good stuff, and you see your video button, if you click the little caret next to it, click the up caret, and what camera do you have selected?
Wait a minute. Okay, so I need to turn this back on then, right? Because it's off now.
Yeah. So okay, and then go
It's
to
HP True Vision 5MP camera.
okay, so you do have your camera selected.
Yep.
Yeah, this might just require me and Michelle to come visit you in Lakeland.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, that
Would
might
there
be
be
the only
gin
solution.
involved in that visit?
Yeah, that might. Michelle's at the gym. She just went to yoga, so she doesn't get a say in this. So we may have to come visit you.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that might be the only solution.
Tom, you got another idea?
No, Jason covered it. It's the first thing I would try is rebooting the computer and seeing if it works. Of course, that'll throw you off the meeting, but try that again. You can test it yourself if you go into Zoom and look at your settings. You
Right.
can to make sure it's working. But other than that, then there's something it does I don't know, it'll probably just require somebody like Jason to sit and stare at it a little bit and it'll finally stare back.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you.
Great presentation, Irma.
Thank you.
Oh, good seeing you, Tom.
All right, you too. I'm going to end the meeting now.
Thank you,
Okay, thanks.
everybody.
Hi, everybody.